There are many ways to approach this topic, and various authors from different modalities have made important contributions. Reich's legacy, for instance, extended not only into Gestalt therapy, but also throughout different psychotherapy modalities and approaches to personality. His ideas were later developed by figures such as Alexander Lowen, who identified 5 major defensive structures: schizoid, oral, psychopathic, masochistic, and rigid. These categories lay the foundation for understanding how people adapt to early life experiences and trauma. Of course, many other authors have contributed to this framework. If you're not sure where to begin with this topic, one of the most comprehensive works is Character Styles by Stephen M. Johnson. In it, Johnson outlines the developmental environments and family dysfunctions that give rise to character defenses. He also shows how these defenses manifest, sometimes as tendencies, styles, or traits, sometimes as neuroses, and in more severe cases, as full personality disorders. Johnson offers clinical guidance and vivid examples. This makes his work an excellent starting point if you want to deepen your understanding of resistance through the lens of personality structure and across different psychotherapy traditions. Now, let's return briefly to the Reich case study. The client displayed what we might call narcissistic defenses, but this did not arise from the typical developmental story we usually associate with narcissism. His structure emerged differently, shaped by other wounds. In fact, we could even question whether his structure was truly narcissistic at all, or whether it belonged to another category. What this shows us is that narcissism is not confined to a single character style. Instead, it appears in varying degrees across all structures, woven into personality in many different ways. This tells us something important about the variability and complexity of human experience. Even within the same structure, the developmental path can vary drastically, and the reverse is also true. The main themes of one structure may appear woven into another. That's why we need a model flexible enough to capture the different ways defenses develop in response to specific wounds. That doesn't mean character structures aren't useful. On the contrary, they can offer powerful insights and sharpen your clinical intuition. But they should never become boxes we try to fit people into. So yes, these models are useful, especially for understanding how personality takes shape in relation to significant figures from early life, and how that history continues to live inside the person. They help us sense what might be happening beneath the surface, but we should never confuse the map with the territory. When you begin to see a client's structure as a system of protective strategies formed around core emotional wounds, resistance no longer feels like an obstacle. It becomes a deeply meaningful expression of the client's lived experience. You stop asking, "Why is this client resisting?" and you start asking, "What does this resistance tell me about how this person has learned to adapt and survive?" That shift alone can transform how you relate to your clients and how you approach resistance. Fortunately, today there are models that address these concerns and align more closely with the complexity of human psyche. One such model is schematherapy. Schematherapy gives us opportunity to describe the wounded and protective parts of the psyche with greater precision and nuance, bringing us closer to the client's actual experience.